Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Owula Hansen Lane at Tesano. I'm Frema Edunyame. Coming up, Court of Appeal overturns conviction of former Assembly member for Denshobwase, who was serving a life sentence for his alleged involvement in the murder of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama. Suame Artisans and Traders Association blocked major parts of Suame Magazine Road to protest dust from delayed Suame interchange project.
We are block kwan say overhead no majaye. Omonye ene futuro kwan na boy wa. Yeso yetonton spare parts wa e bitonton mu niema e biton nsuoni na eme yare. Eti futuro no esa wona ma say wo free Burkina Faso na bae. Eti amaya ho kire wa hapa papa panti aban no.
Tricycle protests in Kumasi stage protest over alleged harassment and extortion by KMA officials.
The situation is affecting us badly in terms of extortion. The main reason why they restrict us from going to the central business district was congestion. And my brother, I asked you in the night, is there any congestion?
Parliamentary Select Committee on Defence and Interior pushes for new legislative instrument to codify recently introduced recruitment reforms by the Ghana Armed Forces.
So at the end of the day, we're going to have a meeting with the CDS and his team. And definitely what they have ruled out, which impresses us, we would want them to probably codify that into some instrument, sort of, which would guide them in their future.
In Channel 1 Business. Services and agriculture sectors drive 5.1% expansion of Ghana's economy in August 2025. And in Channel 1 Sports, Sports Minister fancies Ghana's chances of hosting a future World Cup in conjunction with other West African nations. Now, in our first story, the mayor of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly on Thursday intervened to calm members of the Suame Artisans and Traders Association after they blocked major parts of the Suame Magazine Road to protest heavy dust resulting from delays in the ongoing Suame 4-tier interchange project. The demonstrators say the dust is affecting both their health and their businesses and are urging the government to release funds promptly to accelerate work. Channel 1 News' Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim reports.
Artisans and traders at Suame Magazine blocked portions of the road early Thursday morning to protest the excessive dust rising from the construction site of the Suame 4-tier interchange. They say delays in the project have exposed them to continuous dust pollution, which is causing various health challenges. Several appeals to authorities to regularly water the road to minimize the dust have gone unanswered. According to them, the situation is disrupting business activities and posing serious health risk.
Block kwan say overhead no majaye. Omonye ene futuro kwan na boy wa. Yeso yetonton spare parts wa e bitonton mu niema e biton nsuoni na eme yare. Eti futuro no esa wona ma say wo free Burkina Faso na bae. Eti amaya ho kire wa hapa papa panti aban no ntwa na ni behweye. Na onye overhead no famaye na de akwade enkoyi.
Me toni so toni pa no. Na wo pa no na obapa. Beka se de anu futuro. Ana wo hu so beka se asem futuro aguso. Aba penya ize o. Yewu.
Ibudo so buda bia obia ya complain about the energy. Kana omunya obota so bai.
The blockade resulted in heavy traffic across surrounding roads, prompting the Kumasi mayor to intervene. After meeting the aggrieved artisans and traders, he acknowledged their concerns and assured them that the Ashanti regional minister is working to ensure a swift resumption of construction. On the dust situation, the mayor added that His office is engaging the Suame Municipal Assembly to ensure regular watering of the roads to reduce the dust.
I'm saying that we have had discussions with the authorities of the Suame Municipal Assembly, and every day we will ensure that water bowsers will come on the road.
Traffic has since been restored, but the group has issued a one-week ultimatum to authorities to address their concerns. Artisans and traders here have appealed to the government to urgently release funds to the contractor and to ensure the resumption of work. They also want the government to ensure the timely completion of the project. For Channel 1 News, I am Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Ashanti Region.
Now, scores of commercial tricycle riders have taken to the streets to protest what they describe as extortion and harassment by officials of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. The demonstrators, rallying under the theme "Enough is Enough," parked their tricycles and blocked others from operating, compelling their colleagues across the Kumasi Metropolitan to join the action. Channel 1 News' Middle Belt Bureau Chief, Hafiz Tijani, has more.
Commercial tricycles, popularly known as pragya, have become a widely used mode of transport within Kumasi and parts of the Ashanti region. But 2 years ago, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly imposed restrictions on their operations, barring them from entering key parts of the central business district. The operators eventually complied after initial resistance. Today, however, the riders say they are facing renewed challenges, accusing a KMA task force of persistent extortion and harassment.
The situation is affecting us badly in terms of extortion. The main reason why they restrict us from going to the central business district was congestion. And my brother, I asked you in the night, is there any congestion? Why would you arrest tricycle operators in the night?
7 o'clock.
And if you want to even charge them, you charge them 1,000 Ghana cedis. Today, how much do we get at the end of the day? Enough is enough.
In their numbers, the protesters marched through major streets of Kumasi holding placards highlighting their grievances, while police provided heavy security. The crowd first converged at the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly present a petition before continuing to the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. Their leaders submitted copies of the petition to the Ashanti Regional Minister, the Regional Police Commander, the Interior Minister, and the President.
We have stated clearly that in 2 weeks' time, if we don't hear from them, one, we will start with KMA. All the tricycle operators in the Ashanti region, I will call them to go to the central business district and work, because we have already given them a sticker with a serial number where we can trace them.
Authorities acknowledged receipt of the petitions and promised to forward their concerns to the appropriate quarters.
The petition is well received. Once that the regional minister is not around, we cannot organize a meeting today. But we will do our best to organize a meeting as soon as possible.
That is beyond us. Legalization of tricycles, it's beyond KMA and LCC. But those that are within our mandate, those that are within our remit, we'll look at it.
Officials of the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council, after receiving the petition from the protesters, say they will relay the information to the Ashanti Regional Minister to ensure the concerns of the operators are addressed. Hafiz Tijani, Channel 1 News, Kumasi, Ashanti Region.
The Gbewa Scrap Dealers Association has flagged the government's proposed ban on the export of non-ferrous metal scraps as threat to members' livelihoods. This follows the government's indication in the 2026 budget to restrict the export of non-ferrous scrap metals as part of efforts to boost local manufacturing. The association, at a press briefing, indicated that members risk losing their jobs if the government proceeds with this plan. Channel 1 News' Manuel Ayama reports.
In the 2026 budget presented on Thursday, the Finance Minister announced the government's intention to ban the export of non-ferrous scrap metals, a move aimed at boosting the local metals industry, promoting industrialization and creating jobs by ensuring that raw materials are processed within Ghana rather than exported in their raw form.
Mr. Speaker, to strengthen local manufacturing, export of non-ferrous scrap metals and raw rubbers will be restricted under the Feed the Industry program.
However, at a media briefing, the Gbewa Scrap Dealers Association stated that the move by the government threatens their livelihoods.
The local companies only will add value to the non-ferrous metals, but when you go to the market to buy their produce, it is very, very high. But they always want to buy what we have cheap, and that is where we have problem with them. Their prices to our goods are not encouraging at all, because if you look at where we are getting our copper, we are not getting it in the boiler or in the dustbins. We also go and buy it through companies, institutions, households, and others. That's how we also get it from. So if I buy it and you come and you want to buy it cheap, that means that you keep me out of business.
Now in 2013, the group suffered a ban on the exportation of steel when it comes to the scrap industry. And a ton of steel in the local business was going for 7,000 and above. But as I speak now, it has dropped to 4,000. And for them, this has adversely affected every scrap dealer. The association further noted that it is open to engaging the government on this development to prevent any adverse impact on jobs.
If the opportunity is given, or if we deem it fit, we'll by all means go and see the government and see the way forward.
Now for the Gbewa Scrap Dealers Association, jobs would be lost should this ban take effect. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Malam in Accra, I am Manuel Ayama.
The Court of Appeal has set aside the conviction of William Barr, the Assembly member for Denshaw Boase, who had earlier been found guilty by a High Court jury in connection with the killing of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama in 2017. Major Mahama, an officer of the 5th Infantry Battalion, was lynched by residents of Denshaw Boase in the Upper Denshaw West District while on a morning jog during his deployment to lead an anti-illegal mining galamsey operation in the area. There is more in this report.
The Assembly member, who was accused of abetment of murder, was among several persons found guilty for their involvement in the killing of Major Maxwell Mahama. But in a ruling, the Court of Appeal held that the jury's verdict against the Assembly member was unsafe and unsupported by evidence. The court found that the trial judge had gravely misdirected the jury, particularly by relying on cautioned statements made by two co-accused persons, which mentioned the Assembly member. The court emphasized that such statements made in the absence of the appellant were inadmissible against him. The court noted that the jury ought to have been instructed to disregard those statements entirely. The court also pointed out significant gaps in the prosecution's case. Several witnesses did not place William Barr at the scene of the lynching, while others confirmed that he had no interaction with the individuals who attacked Major Mahama. The court referenced that prosecution witness 3 testified only that he saw Barr riding a motorbike and heard shouts of thief, but did not observe any communication between him and the mob. The panel of the Court of Appeal stated that the prosecution failed to provide any evidence that William Barr instructed anyone, armed anyone, or called any meeting that led to the fatal attack. The court concluded that the guilty verdict was unreasonable and unsustainable. While condemning the killing of Major Mahama, the court stressed that criminal convictions must be based on credible evidence, not suspicion or public sentiment. The Court of Appeal subsequently quashed the conviction, set aside a sentence, and entered a verdict of not guilty in favor of the Assembly member William Barr.
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says investigations are still underway into the accident involving NIMOS officers, which claimed one life in Obuasi. According to the ministry, the accident occurred yesterday and involved a 5-member team that was on its way to carry out a major anti-galamsey operation in the area. Speaking to Channel 1 News, Director of Communications at the ministry, Ama Mausi Mawanyefia, said the ministry will be reviewing its operational processes in tackling galamsey.
NIMOS team had actually gone to Obuasi to conduct some anti-illegal mining operations. And they usually will go in a team, in a large batch. And so these 5 personnel had actually left the site to go to their resident base to just basically freshen up and then later return to the site. And on their way from the site, their vehicle somersaulted. Then they got in. Their vehicle somersaulted. We lost a life, and then the others were critically injured. So the officer who passed has been named as Private Collins Ejapon.
Will this incident in any way lead to a review of the operations of NIMOS?
The minister had mentioned that we are going to look at it. We're going to review that. But for now, that's been ruled as an accident. We do not suspect any foul play.
The government has defended its plan to procure 6 aircraft, including 2 presidential jets, saying the cost will be less than what former President Akufo-Addo spent on renting luxury jets. This comes after the Minority Caucus questioned the priority of the $1.2 billion expenditure, citing outstanding payments to teachers, nurses and road contractors. Debating the 2026 budget, the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Nyako Ampem, assured that the government will be prudent in the purchase. Channel 1 News' Ni Ayikwe Okain reports.
The debate on the 2026 budget continues on the floor of Parliament. The Minority Caucus is calling on the government to render an apology to Ghanaians over plans to purchase 2 new jets and 4 aircraft, but kicking against the purchase of a new presidential jet while in opposition. However, the government assures that the amount of money it will use in purchasing these 6 aircraft would be far less than the amount of money used by former President Akufo-Addo in renting luxurious jets for his presidential travels.
We will interrogate them here, and I will tell you that the cost of 1 aircraft will be far less than the amount you spent for President Akufo-Addo to rent luxurious aircrafts and fly around this country.
This is what they want to buy, and I'll put it for the pleasure of members. I will never and can never be against it. But you on the opposite side, you need to explain to the people of Ghana why for 5 years you fought against it. 9 months later, you are running to buy not 1, but 2.
What is that?
Mr. Speaker, you need to do that and possibly apologize to the people of Ghana.
If a vote is taken around the cabinet table, I don't think the Minister of Finance will score 30%. Because he has failed to make budgetary allocations to the ministries. And they know. They know it. He will not score 30%, not 10% around the table. So he is aware.
They were in charge, Mr. Speaker. They presided over an era where the word corruption became synonymous with leadership. Mr. Speaker, from the Ejapa royalties deals to the Eka energy controversies to the PDS scandals, Mr. Speaker, the countless reported breaches on COVID-19 relief fund of about 21 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, their tenure was a master class of state capture.
Whereas the government assures that the 2026 budget would offer job opportunities for the youth, the Minority Caucus says previous promises outlined in the 2025 budget have not yet been fulfilled. To that extent, they cast doubt on the feasibility of policies in the 2026 budget. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, Ni Ayikwe Okain.
Now, for more on the budget, we have been joined in the studio by Kwabre East MP Onyina Champon Akwesi Jemfi. Thank you very much. You're welcome to Channel 1 Newsroom.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Right, now let's look at the budget, so this particular one outlines expanded, support for local food production and buffer stock and all. Now, as MP coming from Kwabre East, is this enough and sufficient, to support and address the challenges of farmers?
Well, let me first of all say the budget had highlighted very important strides in terms of inflation, very good. In terms of the stability of the cedi, in terms of economic growth, by mid-year we're doing 6.3%. But there are certain areas of the budget that, leaves much to be desired. You just mentioned the food side, agricultural side of it. The allocation to agric, even though it's substantial, but it's not enough to tackle the food security issues in the country. Now, I've seen that in the budget, it has tried to tackle various components of the sector. So it's tackling food, it's tackling the Kukon Ketinketi project, leading to maybe eggs and all that stuff. It's tackling the oil palm side of it. And so it's like, touching on bits, but the bits are not enough to consolidate.
What do you want to see, or what did you want to see?
So what I want to see is quite a targeted approach in terms of the various sectors of agric. So if you're looking at cash crops, what is a targeted approach towards cash crops? For example, if you look at cocoa, what are you doing to ensure that we get the volumes, that we get the production going up? Because the farmer's benefit is a function of two things. It's a function of the production, what he produces, how many bags or tons that he's able to generate from his farm, and also is a function of the price.
Right, so the investment and returns.
Yes, for a price per ton that he gets on his investment. And so if you want to target the cash crop of the farmer, you need to target these two things. So on the production side, I didn't see enough from the budget to say I'm supporting so much. You see targets, fertilizer, but fertilizer is general. Previous governments had targeted approaches like, the mass cocoa mass spraying. They had targeted approaches like doing the rehabilitation efforts. They had CORIP before. Then we had what the just immediate past did with the cutting the cocoa, doing the rehabilitation, getting them tubers of stuff to plant. And so that was quite a targeted approach. Then you get to the other side, like cashew. You haven't seen, we have the Tree Development Authority regulating the cashew industry, but then you don't have a targeted approach for cashew farmers, which you say you tackle the pests and the stuff, and also the smuggling that is, because cashew is grown along the borders, along around 7 regions. And so you need also, what do you do to boost cashew production? What do you do to boost exports? What do you do to prevent, what we call the briefcase buyers, where the Indians, the Vietnamese, they just come in, buy 2 or 3 containers and go away. By so doing, they are able to show up the prices because most of them control the chain. They are processors. So they come in, they want to control the chain by also being aggregators. And so they don't mind spending a lot more aggregating what they want. 500 tons, 1,000 tons, 3,000 tons, and then they go. So they show up the price, they kick out the local industry in the first few months of the cashew season, and then they go away. And so we need some of these targeted approaches. So then let me come back to what actually the government wanted to do in the oil palm. You see, when you go to oil palm, you have to look at the benefits that will generate and the contribution of that sector to the economy, what it will bring to the economy. And if that side is not generating enough, and you are going to focus so much on it, there are 2 things. It's either you don't want the growth now, but you are just preparing the farmers for the near future. And so you are saying that looking at the way the production will come, the way we want to control the chain, the way we want to look at processing and all that in oil palm, we are targeting an improved economy in the oil palm sector. But Ghana is not ready. There are already certain things that we can do. What is the consumption of oil palm?
Right.
Even though we can export, compared to cocoa, compared to cashew, compared to other things.
So let's now look at the allocation to the road sector, because it's also an issue that agriculture would heavily rely on. Now, when you look at the allocation, especially looking at how road infrastructure has been a long-standing concern in your constituency, for example, you know, would you say that this allocation will cater for the concerns in your constituency?
So at the allocation to the roads, I think the road sector got about 4.4 billion or so, and it is not adequate.
Right.
Even though, I mean, if you look through the budget, the topmost sector was education, and then health, and then national security, and then it follows through like that. And I would say I will not complain so much on the road sector because the sectors that are topping the charts are very important sectors.
Right.
Now, whether that allocation is enough, it is not enough. But this is what we have.
Right.
So you can't complain so much. My focus will be on the priority areas where we set our priorities.
Right.
And so if we have that allocation for the road sector, how is the government going to apply it? So if the government tells me that is going to construct another Kumasi to Accra road, there's a different one with 8 interchanges and all that amenities, instead of focusing on the existing one and making it better. I have a challenge with that priority. Okay, if the government says I'm doing big push, so in the 2025 budget, they allocated 13.8 billion for big push, and the government said we are allocating everything to the road sector in the big push, everything to the road sector. And so at that point, there was no commitment to achieving that because even the 13.8 billion was not fully exhausted. It exhausted only 7.7 billion of that amount. And so it became, you ask the question, is the government fully committed on the roadside into achieving that big push agenda of the roadside? And so there will never be enough funds for roads.
Right.
So you come to my constituency.
You still have issues.
I still have issues with roads. But it's not so much about the allocation. I haven't got a problem with it because if you rank it, the ones that are leading the chart, I would say are topmost priorities.
But we have to get our priorities right. Now, you know, in wrapping up, let me pick your thoughts on this. The majority in Parliament has described the budget as very transformational. The minority has raised concerns about its credibility and feasibility. What are the gaps that you have identified?
Okay,
we have just 60 seconds to go.
60 seconds? Well, this is
I mean, you know the issues.
Okay, one. So let me tackle revenue. And so revenue and expenditure. You projected to get 162.6 billion in revenue in 2025 by end of third quarter. You got 154.9. There's a gap of 7.7, right? And then 2026, you want to increase your revenue target from 226 billion to 268 billion. That is extra 42 billion. You think that this is a tall order, looking at the fact that you are not able to achieve your revenue target, and you are still increasing it. But then there are tax handles that were going to help you execute your revenue target, which is the COVID-19 levy, and then the VAT. Now you want to reform that. It's going to create another gap of 5.7 billion. So the question is, even with all these tax handles, you couldn't achieve your revenue target. How much more you taking them out, increasing your revenue target by 42 billion, and still expecting to achieve your revenue target? It doesn't show credibility. Number two, then is the commitment towards your flagship programs. You have 24-hour economy. You promise Ghanaians is going to generate 1.7 million jobs. You allocate only 110 million towards that. When you allocate 292 million for sanitary parts and 207 million for stadiums, 200 200 million for stadiums, 207 million for rebasing the GDP. So where are your priorities?
Right.
Where is the 133 jobs that you said? So that one job, 3 shifts, 3 people is missing.
Yeah.
And if interestingly, if you look at all the budgetary allocations for 21 ministries, you will see that employment ministry is run, the employment, labor and employment ministry runs last.
Very well.
So if you have a target of achieving employment, that is your flagship thing that you said, the youth are going to get jobs, and then you do your budgetary allocation. And for 21 ministries, the employment ministry is the one that is last with 90 million Ghana cedis. Then what is the credibility?
Point well noted. Thank you very much, Kwabri East MP Onyine Champon Kwesi Jemfi, for joining us this evening. Right now, this is a Channel 1 newsroom. Still to come, services and agriculture sectors drive 5.1% expansion of Ghana's economy in August 2025. We'll be right back. Do stay.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
This tote pays 3 salaries. This book keeps 2 children in school. This cream supports 5 households. Every product creates a job.
Afro-quality. Buy African, build Africa.
Christmas, my favorite time of the year.
This festive season, Volta Serene Hotel invites you to experience the magic of Christmas and New Year like never before. From 20th of December to the 1st of January, step into a world of joy, music, laughter, and celebration. We begin on the 20th with a soulful carols night, filling the air with warmth and melody. Then, on 23rd and 24th of December, arrive in style as we welcome you with fresh coconut and local treats. Christmas Day brings pure delight, exciting moments for kids, relaxing escape for adults, and an elegant all-white dinner under the stars, crowned with a spectacular fireworks display. On Boxing Day, embrace culture and rhythm, from picnics and traditional dance to an unforgettable high life and old school night. As the week unfolds, enjoy movie night, live music, karaoke, and endless fun, until we welcome 2026 with a breathtaking fireworks show on New Year's Eve. Special Christmas packages starting from 4,050 for individuals, 5,250 for couples, and 8,900 Ghana cedis for a family of 4 for 2 nights. Call or WhatsApp 0541 539 867 or 0362 025 243 to book your experience today. Volta Serene Hotel. Feel the serene touch.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late? Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go give me the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go give me luckiest. No matter why got luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That Kwame!
Send your God down for boom. If you put it with a toy. so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey! Is that his car?
Dial star 712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
You're welcome back. Next is Channel 1 Business with Netele Nete Ajaho.
Channel 1 Business is brought to you by MTN and EcoBank.
We're not sure what's causing the panic, but if you're
Masquerades are scary, but bills shouldn't scare you. Be one of 10,000 lucky winners when you deposit multiples of 400 Ghana cedis or take a loan in multiples of 4,000 Ghana cedis to win up to 1.5 million Ghana cedis in cash and prizes, 1-year insurance cover, and more. Tap into vibes in the EcoBank 5-Star Enjoyment Promo. Up to 15% discount when you use our cards and digital platforms. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or text asking you to verify sensitive information like your PIN, Ghana card, or bank card information. Pay better attention to details.
You're welcome, Netele.
Hi, Firma.
Right, so what's in business?
Still good news about the economy as the services sector is pushing the economy up still.
May it be so unto us till the end of the year.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get straight to our stories. But before that story, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is urging government to rethink its plan to return to the domestic capital market next year, warning that the move could further tighten credit conditions for businesses. According to the chamber, going ahead at this time could heighten competition for funds and crowd out private sector firms already struggling to access affordable credit. There's more in this report.
Finance Minister Dr. Ato Forsen, presenting the 2026 budget, announced that government will re-enter the domestic capital market as post-DDEP restrictions expire, primarily to refinance existing obligations. By speaking at the Chamber's 2026 Budget Review Seminar, President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Stefan Mezan, cautioned that the timing may be premature.
We want to recommend the government to
Now, cold chain storage is fast becoming a vital tool in tackling Ghana's post-harvest losses, which stakeholders estimate drain more than $3 billion from the economy each year. This urgency was underscored at the seminar on the Cold Chain Strategic Partnership Project organized by the Embassy of Denmark. There's more in this report.
The seminar on the Cold Chain Strategic Partnership Project convened local agribusinesses, development partners, financiers, and civil society organizations working to strengthen cold chain infrastructure and related interventions aimed at cutting post-harvest losses across the food, agriculture, and fisheries value chains. Director of Women in Agricultural Development at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Paulina Adi, believes cold chain systems have become even more crucial amid recent food gluts.
We read about losses for onions around the Ajenkotoku market and some other locations. And these are very unpardonable things that happen because we could manage the waste, or we shouldn't even let it happen. So either we put them into value-added products or keep them in controlled temperature environment so they will not spoil.
Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison, stresses that Ghana must now prioritize building a skilled workforce capable of fabricating and maintaining cold chain systems locally.
Cold chain is the only alternative way. We have the solar, we have the renewable energy that we can develop to make sure that we reduce the cost of the cold chain system. What we need to do as a country now is to develop the skilled workforce to be able to fabricate or manufacture the cold chain systems entirely in Ghana so that we reduce the cost of it.
While the required investments remain capital intensive, the head of trade at the Embassy of Denmark proposes viable funding options.
There's a DFI, the Development Financial Institution called Impact Fund Denmark, which can do both equity and loans and guarantees. And then we have the Export Credit Agency, IFO. The most important part is here in the cold chain project, that is the commercialization. And this means who's the owners, where does the cash flow come from?
Stakeholders in the agri value chain believe investment in cold chain systems will be critical in advancing food security. For Channel One Business, I am Daniel Sakiti.
Ghana's economy expanded by 5.1% in August. This is according to provisional data from the Ghana Statistical Service. This shows that the growth was largely driven by the services sector, which jumped 9.5%, while agriculture rose 7.4%. Industry, however, contracted by 1.8%, dragging the overall outturn. Announcing the figures at a press briefing, government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu urged caution, noting that data remains provisional.
The July monthly indicator of economic growth has been revised to 3.7% due to updated data, mainly in industry-related activities. Let's recall that originally it was 4.5%, but we've revised it downwards to 3.7%. The provisional growth rate for August is 5.1%, higher than the 4.9% recorded in August 2024. Agriculture expanded strongly at 7.4% compared with 2.3% last year. So again, and then industry contracted by 1.8%, following the revised July contraction of 3.1%, down from an expansion of 9.1% recorded in August 2024.
Let's now bring you an update on how the currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's all for business. I am Netali Neti Aja. Back to you, Frema.
Thank you very much. Now to some other stories. The New Patriotic Party's Presidential Elections Committee has rejected requests to overturn the ban on proxy voting for the party's 2026 presidential primaries. This was disclosed to journalists after a high-level meeting between the committee and representatives of the candidates at the party's Asylum Down office. There is more in this report.
Chairman of the New Patriotic Party's Presidential Elections Committee, Joseph Osei-Owusu, has dismissed petitions challenging the ban on proxy voting in the party's upcoming presidential primaries. He maintains that the restriction will remain in place to protect the credibility of the polls. Speaking to journalists, Mr. Osei-Owusu explained that the committee had reviewed the petitions but concluded that lifting the ban could complicate the election and potentially trigger disputes. The Presidential Elections Committee also officially released a provisional register to all aspirants seeking the party's flag bearer position.
The earlier published position or guideline on proxy voting. We've listened to all kinds of petitions. We've read the petitions presented by sections of the party. And after listening to all that, we came to a conclusion that for the sake of conducting an election that is incident-free and election that is respected, election which is acceptable to all, a very credible elections, that provision or that ban should be maintained. We will still not have proxy voting in this 2026 presidential primaries. That position is maintained.
The Parliamentary Select Committee on Defence and Interior is pushing for the passage of a new legislative instrument to codify the recruitment reforms introduced by the Ghana Armed Forces GAF. The GAF, following the tragic stampede of November 12, has rolled out several measures, including decentralizing recruitment centers, capping the number of candidates screened per day, and introducing a more robust electronic appointment system to improve safety and efficiency. Channel 1 News' Fauzu Masaudu has more.
Described as one of Ghana's darkest moments in recent times, the November 12 stampede, which claimed at least 6 lives and left several potential military recruits injured, led to the suspension of the recruitment in the Greater Accra region. On Thursday, the exercise resumed, this time with a series of reforms, a strengthened online appointment system, and decentralized screening centers to enhance safety and streamline the process. During an assessment visit, Deputy Defense Minister Ernest Broja Jemfi praised the military command for their interventions while acknowledging the reputational damage caused by the earlier tragic incident.
Well, I think there's order today. You can find that the potential recruits are seated, comfortably seated, and going through the processes as we planned. And so today everything is going according to plan. We have avoided the overcrowding. The potential recruits were invited in batches on specific time, and they have also been very disciplined in adhering to the measures that have been put in place. And so you can clearly see that we have taken corrective measures to win back the trust of the people.
On their part, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defence and Interior reiterated the need for a legislative instrument to formally guide future recruitment processes.
At the end of the day, we're going to have a meeting with the CDS and his team. And definitely what they have rolled out, which impresses us, we would want them to probably codify that into some instrument, sort of, which would guide them in their future operations.
Despite a largely smooth exercise, the Ghana Armed Forces recorded at least 1 case of document forgery and has handed the suspect over to the appropriate authorities for further investigations.
Nothing so far has been recorded, no eventuality. It's just that where documents are not all right, we've had 1 case of forgery, and then we are handling it. That's why we have IT specialists at post deployed. So where we identify forgery, we quickly handle it because we don't want fraudsters joining us in the military.
Under the new arrangement, 800 candidates were scheduled for screening at stations with 1 center, while up to 100,600 candidates were targeted at locations operating 2 centers. Some potential recruits who spoke to Channel 1 News expressed optimism about their chances of gaining entry in the army.
I say alhamdulillah for now. Everything I've done successfully. So I'm trying to find my way back to my place, preparing for another process, if God will. But inshallah, I pray by Almighty Allah, everything will go successfully. People believe in protocol. We don't have anyone. So we just believe in God. And inshallah, I know God will do it for me.
It went smoothly. When we came in, we were informed you show your portal to the military men, then they'll direct you to whether team A or team B. So I was actually in team B. So they directed me to the first gate. And then I took my seat. From there, they started going to, they call the first 10 in front, so then they go for your check. Then they continue like that. That was how the process was. So when I came today, I was even saying that today's process was kind of smooth.
The resumption of the military recruitment exercise in Accra has largely been successful, and given the reforms introduced, authorities believe strongly that the coming days will be same and even the future. Reporting for Channel 1 News, Fauzu Masaudu.
You're still watching the Channel 1 Newsroom. Still ahead. Sports Minister fancies Ghana's chance of hosting a future World Cup in conjunction with other West African nations. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Are you aged 45 years and over and or noticed blood in your stool and have a family history of cancer? Then don't hesitate to have a colonoscopy. Early detection of cancer and effective treatment saves lives. Visit us or call us on 0244 581 541 or 0271 054 204. Mintuba Hospital. In to serve a peculiar health need.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Pearl. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Go be the luckiest. Go be from Georgia, be luckiest. From not the pure, cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Hello again. Up next is Channel 1 Sports with Yao J. Minta. Yao, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Firma.
Right, so you guys are thinking of hosting the World Cup sometime.
Yes.
Quite ambitious.
Yes, it is ambitious, but it's still a possibility though, and that's what the sports minister believes.
Well, let's win a cup first.
Okay, sure.
And at least we'll be motivated. Go on.
We'll do. Now, Sports and Recreation Minister Kofi Adams says Ghana could launch a joint bid to host the FIFA World Cup with other West African nations in the future. The United States of America, Mexico, and Canada are co-hosting the 2026 tournament, while Portugal, Morocco, and Spain will host the 2030 edition. In line with this, the sports minister believes Ghana can host the World Cup in the future with Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire.
It's happening for the first time. The previous World Cups that we have participated in have been single nation hosting. This is the first time 3 nations are going to be hosting, and it looks like FIFA is adapting that role now, because the 2030 and then 2034 is also adapting the same line. So you have Morocco, you have, I think, Portugal, and then Spain also going to host the 2032 already. So they are beginning to adapt a number of nations doing it. So maybe, who knows, the next one will be Ghana, Nigeria, and then Cote d'Ivoire coming together to also host the World Cup, and it will be good. With the level of infrastructure His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wants us to do, I believe that we together with Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, who have already invested quite a lot because they hosted AFCON not too long ago, we can also ask for that right.
Now, the fixture list for the intercontinental playoffs for qualification to the 2026 FIFA World Cup has been confirmed. The draw for the mini tournament was held on Thursday, November 20 at the FIFA headquarters in Switzerland, with the Democratic Republic of Congo and Iraq seeded for the competition. Following the draw, DR Congo will take on the winner of the clash between New Caledonia and Jamaica, while Iraq take on the winner of the clash between Bolivia and Suriname. The mini tournament will take place in Mexico between March 23 and March 31, 2026, with the two winners qualifying to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. DR Congo are representing Africa in the intercontinental playoffs, while Bolivia are representing the CONMEBOL region, with New Caledonia representing Oceania. Suriname and Jamaica are representing the CONCACAF region in the mini tournament. And that's it for sports. I am Yao Ejminta. Trevor, over to you.
Thank you very much. I'll see you later. Right, and that's how we wrap up. This has been the Channel 1 Newsroom. But don't forget to visit our website, channel1newsonline.com, for information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Channel 1 TV on YouTube for more exclusive